Hello, my name is Marna and this is my response to the Module 3 video presentation. How does Congress define disability? Congress defines disability as being a, and I quote, natural part of the human experience. And it certainly should not prevent individuals from participating in and contributing to society. Why did Congress decide IDEA was needed? IDEA was needed because children with disabilities' educational needs were not being fully met, as we see in the following. They didn't receive appropriate educational services. They were excluded from the public school system. Because of undiagnosed disabilities, those children who participated in regular school programs did not experience a successful education. And lastly, families were forced to seek services at their own expense outside of the school system because of lack of resources. What impact has IDEA had since 1975? Once the Act was implemented in 1975, families had access to free appropriate public education for their children with disabilities and were therefore able to improve their children's educational results. What future changes to IDEA are proposed in special education research? Research has already demonstrated how special education can be made even more effective, and the findings document list the following proposals. Have high expectations of students with disabilities. Underscore the roles and responsibilities parents and families have in the education of their children. Coordinate school improvement efforts across local, state, and federal levels to ensure children with disabilities benefit from these efforts. Provide appropriate aids, services, and supports for children with disabilities in the regular classroom. Focus on the importance of pre-service preparation as well as professional development opportunities to improve teacher skills and knowledge, and use scientifically based instructional practices. Provide incentives to schools who focus on early intervention, focus time and efforts on teaching and learning as opposed to administrative burdens, and support the development and use of technology to improve educational experience. What are the federal government, SEAs, LEAs, parents, schools, and teachers responsible for? The federal government is responsible for providing an equal educational opportunity for all individuals, and this should be achieved by a more equitable allocation of resources. State and local educational agencies are responsible for providing an education for all children with disabilities to improve results of these children and ensure equal protection of the law. This effort must be supported by federal government. Parents and schools and teachers are responsible for resolving their disagreements in a positive and constructive way. How does Congress define and address the issue of disproportionality in special education through IDEA? In 2000, America's racial profile demonstrated that 1 out of 3 persons was considered a member of a minority group or not proficient in English, and there is a consistent increase of minority children in public schools. Congress proposes to focus recruitment efforts of special education personnel on minority groups to provide role models for students with disabilities from similar minority groups and help them with addressing their unique needs. What did Congress change in the 2004 reauthorization of IDEA? A clearer focus on the responsibility of parents for their children's education was added. Statistics regarding school attendance of children from minority groups and such children identified for special education were updated. Specifics on dropout rates were removed. Disproportionality is still addressed in IDEA 2004, however, statistics related to teacher diversity and how the numbers support the large discrepancies between students from minority groups versus teachers from minority groups were removed. Responsibility to ensure successful post-school transition of students with disabilities was added, and this transition can be related to employment or to further education. Identify 3 key changes and discuss these in relation to your readings for this module. Although it appears as if some of the more significant changes in the 2004 reauthorization of IDEA was the approach in which disproportionality was described, the key change that stands out for me that I can relate to the readings was the shift or the addition of responsibility on families for the education of their children. Each of the readings addressed this in some format. Turnbull, however, focuses on analyzing IDEA 2004 as an education law, civil rights law, and welfare reform, and in each of these areas, he explains how family and student responsibility is emphasized. Thank you.